You wake up to the same heavy silence, the empty bottle still on the table. Each morning, there's a split second of peace before reality crashes back in. Your head throbs, your heart sinks, your mouth is dry, and your hands shake as shame creeps in like a slow fog. You feel sick of yourself, broken in a way that no promise or apology can fix. You tell yourself never again, yet sunset finds you pouring another drink. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? For a moment, the alcohol feels like a warm friend. It wraps you in numbness, blurs the edges of your pain. When the world is too loud, the bottle whispers that it can quiet everything. So you drink, hoping to fill the void or at least forget it for a while. But deep down, even as the buzz washes over you, a small voice asks, "What am I really looking for?" That question lingers in the pit of your stomach, because it's not just about the taste or the habit. It's about escape. Escape from loneliness, from fear, from the darkness you don't want to face. You chase oblivion to avoid the truth that waits in silence. This is the trap, the illusion that drowning your sorrows will somehow make them disappear. But emptiness cannot fill emptiness. No matter how much you pour in, the void inside only echoes with more loneliness and longing. When the high fades, the pain remains, sharper than before. The cycle continues night after night, and you wonder if this is all life will ever be. Yet there's another part of you, quieter but persistent, whispering that something is wrong, whispering that this isn't the end of your story. One night, as you stare at your reflection in a dark window, you feel it, a flicker of desperation and longing. You realize that the alcohol has never really healed you. It was a mask, a temporary anesthesia for a wound that still bleeds beneath. And as that realization breaks the surface of your mind, you finally allow yourself to ask the question you've been avoiding. Why am I in so much pain? This isn't about willpower or morality. It's about a deep inner cry. Inside you, something is hurt and cry out for help. The bottle was never the origin of your suffering. It was a salve you used to soothe an invisible wound. Every drink was a plea for relief, a wordless way of saying, "I can't bear what I feel." Maybe there was a night when that plea turned into a scream. When you found yourself on the cold bathroom floor, tears mixing with spilled liquor, and realized that no one else could pull you out of this pain. Carl Jung understood this well. He suggested that addiction is not mere indulgence or sin, but misguided spiritual quest. Your thirst for alcohol is really a thirst for something sacred, meaning, belonging, wholeness. In the haze of drinking, there were moments of false transcendence, weren't there? Moments when the world faded and you felt briefly free or connected to something greater. That was never about the liquor itself. It was your soul, searching for light in the only place it knew to look. Even the name we give alcohol, spirits, hints at this longing. You were seeking a spirit in the spirits you drank, grasping for something divine in a bottle that never truly came. Beneath the silent nights of your despair, your soul has been whispering. It asks for more than numb comfort. It wants truth. It wants healing. What you are suffering from is not just chemical dependence, but spiritual dehydration. You're parched for a sense of purpose, for self-love, for an end to the inner turmoil. And alcohol, for all its promises, cannot quench that deeper thirst. Maybe no one ever told you that your pain had meaning, that the emptiness inside was an alarm, not a curse. You've been treating the alarm with sedatives, trying to sleep through the fire in your heart. But the fire is a signal, a call to attend to something vital and true. Can you hear it now, that silent cry beneath the addiction's roar? As you begin to sense the deeper longing beneath your cravings, something shifts. For the first time, you catch a glimpse of compassion for yourself. You're not a weak-willed failure. You're a human being in pain, longing for wholeness. This understanding cracks the facade you built, the one that said everything was fine. Through the cracks, A faint light seeps in. Now you see how the cycle really works. It starts with feeling, an ache, a fear, a loneliness that slithers in when you least expect it. Perhaps a memory of hurt, or the weight of unmet expectations, or the simple hollow of an unloved day. That feeling grows teeth, gnawing at you from the inside, and you desperately seek to escape it. So you reach for the drink to push the feeling back into the shadows. The first sip burns, the next soothes. Soon the ache dulls. The shadow is pushed out of sight, for now. You laugh a little easier, or maybe you just stop trembling. For a while, the monster seems tamed. But what happens to the pain you banish? It doesn't disappear. It waits in the dark corners of your being. Every time you refuse to face it, it grows in the shadows of your soul. Jung would call this your shadow, all the parts of you lock away and refuse to see. With each drink, you feed the shadow, even as you think you're escaping it. Night after night, the loop tightens. The pain returns, a little stronger, a little darker, as soon as the alcohol fades. Then you drink again, trying to break free from what is actually inside you. It's like running in a nightmare. The more you flee, the more the terror pursues you. What you resist persists, and your resistance has only made your suffering more tenacious. Look at the patterns. Every hangover brings a fresh wave of guilt and self-loathing. In those moments of clarity, you swear to change. Yet by evening, the shadow of fear looms, and you seek refuge in familiar oblivion. It's not laziness, and it's not madness. It's a misguided survival strategy. You've been fighting a part of yourself, and alcohol has been your weapon and your shield. But can you see now that this weapon wounds you in return? Each attempt to cut away the pain also cuts away a piece of your life. The evenings lost, the relationship strained, the self-respect chipped slowly away. Every promise you broke to those you love became another crack in your own heart. These are the sacrifices you've been making at the altar of avoidance. And despite all of it, the sadness, the fear, the emptiness remain. They will continue to remain until you stop running and turn to face your shadow. There comes a night when you're too tired to run. You find yourself alone with your thoughts, no bottle in hand, and the full weight of your hurt settles around you. It's terrifying, but in that terror there is truth. For a brief moment, you allow yourself to feel everything: the grief, the anger, the loneliness, the regret. And though it hurts, it also feels real, more real than the numbing lies ever did. The truth is harsh. Alcohol was never your friend. It felt like comfort, like freedom, like confidence in a glass, but that was a grand illusion. In reality, each drink was a thief. It stole your clarity, your vitality, and gave only emptiness in return. What you thought was solving your problems was only piling them higher in a dark corner where you wouldn't see them until they toppled. Think of all the lies that addiction whispered to you. Just one more, it will help. You can't cope without this. You are broken. So why not escape? Every one of those is a lie. And you tried so hard to believe them because the truth was too painful to face. How many nights did you cling to those lies just to make it to the next morning? But now, in the stark light of honesty, those lies crack and crumble. The illusion falls away. The bottle never filled your void. It widened it. What you called relief was only postponement. What you called courage from a bottle was only your true self, briefly uncovered before being drowned again in regret. All along, you had the capacity to face life, but the alcohol made you forget that. It's time to call things by their real names. Your comfort was a cage. Your escape was a trap. That liquid courage? It was fear in disguise, keeping you from growing on your own. And those nights you can't remember weren't freedoms. They were stolen time, gone forever. This is the moment you see the bars of the prison you built out of denial. A famous insight from Jung emerges in this clarity. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. You see it now. The absurd lengths you into not to feel your truth, the things you lost, the pain you accepted, just to stay blind to your soul's cry. But illusions can only hold power over you as long as you refuse to look behind them. Now you are looking, and the illusion doesn't survive the gaze. The collapse of a lie is devastating, but liberating. It leaves you raw, exposed, and wondering what comes next now that the old refuge is gone. Yet in that ruin of false comfort, something else shimmers, the possibility of a real answer, a real change. All your life you sought answers at the bottom of glass, and all you found were more questions. Now, at last, you have the courage to ask those questions out loud, and to hear the answer that was whispering all along. So you surrender, not to the addiction, but to the truth of your life. You admit to yourself, I am not okay. I need help. I need change. In that surrender, a strange peace arrives. Because giving up the lie makes room for something genuine to enter. The ground of illusion has crumbled, but now you have solid ground to stand on: honesty. Now the journey shifts from fighting a war outside to healing the wounds inside. You stand at the mirror, seeing yourself sober and unmasked. The face looking back is tired, yes, and hurt, but it's real. This is where you begin, with reality, no matter how fractured it might be. Healing begins in the radical act of facing yourself. Instead of reaching for a drink when pain swells, you sit with it. At first, this feels unbearable. The urge to escape is still there, strong as a rip current. But you take a breath. You close your eyes. You listen to what your pain has to say. The emotion that surged through you, grief, rage, fear, emptiness, each has a story. They are messengers of all you've been through, all you've lost, all you never learned to give yourself. By listening, you start to learn who you truly are beneath the haze of intoxication and years of running away. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Jung wrote, "This is exactly what you're doing now. Instead of praying for the light to simply banish your darkness, you are bravely stepping into the dark. You are exploring its contours, feeling its texture, understanding its origin. By making your darkness conscious, you begin to reclaim the power held over you. It's not an easy path. Healing is not a gentle stroll. It's a climb up a steep hill, sometimes a crawl through the mud of old memories. There are days you might stumble, days you might even fall. But each step you take inward builds a strength you never knew you had. The strength to endure your own feelings, the strength to say no to the easy escape, the strength to seek real solutions instead. You might seek support on this path. Therapy, recovery groups, spiritual practices, honest conversations with a friend. All of these are ways of turning inward, of saying, I will no longer abandon myself. You might sit with others who share their stories and realize you see yourself in each of them, or you write your heart out in a journal and give name to feelings you once fled. Every such act of honesty is a step toward wholeness. Every time you resist the old urge to numb out and instead choose to remain present, you are healing. You learn that the pain won't kill you, but running from it almost did. And in facing it, you discover pain can transform. It can guide you to what needs a change in your life. This is how healing begins, by listening to your hurt instead of running from it. Day by sober day, you start to feel something unfamiliar. Hope, not the false hope at the bottom of a bottle, but a quiet, steady hope born from seeing that change is possible. You realize that the emptiness can be filled, not by substances, but by genuine experiences, self-discovery, and self-love. Little by little, You start doing things that nourish you: writing, walking, praying, creating, reaching out for real connection. These things scare you at first because they are real and require vulnerability, but they also satisfy something deep in you. Each morning you wake without regret is a small victory. Each night you face your demons sober is a triumph of spirit. You begin to trust yourself again, word by word, promise by promise kept. The fractured pieces of you are starting to come together, not by magic, but by the hard work of honesty and compassion. And you find that what alcohol promised you in hallucinations, you can slowly build for real peace, confidence, meaning. One afternoon, you find yourself laughing genuinely, with no substance in your veins. It hits you, this feeling. It's what you were chasing all along. A simple moment of unfiltered life, where you're fully present and it is enough. Tears come, because for so long you didn't believe this was possible. This is a glimpse of the light breaking through, earned by your courage to face the dark. All along, your addiction was not just a curse. It was also a calling, a dark invitation to break down and rebuild on a new foundation. Now you see that clearly. The very thing that nearly killed you has become the catalyst for you to finally start living. This realization is your awakening. It might have come in a dramatic moment, perhaps a night when you nearly lost everything, or an early morning when you finally admitted, "I need help." Or it might have dawned slowly, over many days of struggle and clarity. But here it is, the understanding that you can no longer live the way you were living, and that you were meant to transform. This is a call to deep transformation. Will you answer it? It asks you to let the old self die, the self that sought salvation in self-destruction, and to let a new self be born from the ashes. It is both an ending and a beginning, and it requires your whole heart. You realize that recovery is not just about not drinking. It's about reclaiming your soul from the grip of darkness and bringing it back into light. There's a power in you that survived all the damage you did to yourself, a spark of life that refused to be extinguished, that kept you alive through the worst nights. Now is the time to fan that spark into a flame. Every choice you make to honor your true needs, every time you say yes to growth and no to betrayal of yourself, that flame grows. Each time the urge rises and you choose a walk, a prayer, or a phone call instead of drink, that flame burns brighter. It might scare you to have this hope, to feel worthy of a better life. Addiction had become a twisted comfort zone. Misery was familiar. Stepping into the light of possibility can feel exposing, even painful in its own way. But think of how far you've come. Think of why you started this journey out of the abyss. You were seeking relief, and now you are on the path to true healing. If you've listened this far, it's because something in you is ready to step beyond the lies and the numbing and into your authentic life. If this truth resonates with you, take it as a sign. You are not alone in this, and your journey is just beginning. If you've made it here, your soul probably needed this. Stay close. And if you feel it, share this message or write in the comments, "I choose to transform." In answering this call, you aren't just quitting a substance. You're answering to your own existence. You're saying, "Yes, I will live. Yes, I will face whatever I must to find who I truly am." This yes is powerful. It's what turns survival into transformation. It's what shifts the narrative from "I am broken" to "I am breaking open to become whole." And that changes everything. You take a deep breath and feel a new resolve in your bones. The road ahead is uncertain and will have challenges, but it no longer matters because it's the road back to yourself. Every day, you commit to living not perfectly, but honestly. You know why you're doing this now, and that why fuels you when the old temptation knocks on the door. Your life is becoming your own again, one step at a time. Picture this: a morning sun breaking through your window, illuminating a room that once held only shadows. You open your eyes and there is clarity, a clear mind, a beating heart, a soul that is finally awake. You stand up and feel the solid ground beneath your feet, remembering when everything used to spin. You walk outside and the cool air greets you. For the first time in a long time, you really feel it. The gentle bite of the cold, the soft rustle of the world waking up. These simple sensations were lost to you when you were numb, but now they're like gifts. Every breath in your lungs is a reminder you are alive, and this life is yours to fully experience. You carry all the yesterdays with you, the mistakes, the hurts, the things you've seen in the dark. But they are not weights anymore. They are your armor of wisdom and compassion. You have learned what the pain was trying to teach you, that you matter, that your life is worth living, that every moment of clarity is precious. Your scars are real, but they prove that you have healed and are healing still. They are marks of courage. Each scar, once a mark of shame, is now proof of your strength. This is not the end of suffering or struggle. Life will always have storms, but now you know you don't have to face them alone or hide from them. You have yourself now, the one person you needed most. And in reconnecting with yourself, you've tapped into something greater as well, a sense that you belong in this world and that it has meaning. Look at the journey you have made, from the darkest nights to the beginnings of dawn. Not everyone will understand it, but those who have walked a similar path will. By saving yourself, you light a way that others can follow. Your story, once defined by pain and escape, can become a beacon of hope and transformation for someone else lost in the dark. By choosing to live, you show others it's possible to come back from the brink. Your light is visible to anyone ready to see it. The sun climbs higher, and you feel its warmth on your face. A gentle reassurance that last night's darkness is over, and a new day has begun. This is not the final chapter of your life. It's the introduction to a life you never thought you could have. A life where you are present, where you are whole, where you are finally you. In this new light, you realize you are no longer the person who kept running from life. You rise not with the old armor of numbness, but with new skin, open, vulnerable, and alive. You are someone new, someone who faced the darkness and emerged into the sunrise. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a new one written in truth, in courage, and in love for the self you are becoming. And as you step forward, leaving footprints on fresh dew, you carry a quiet triumph in your heart, because against all odds you answered the call. You chose to live and to become who you were meant to be.